Hi, and welcome to another episode of What's the Dish. Today, we're going to celebrate one of my favorite chefs ever. And it's not because both of our birthdays are on the same day, August 15th. Julia Child has been an amazing force in culinary. And we want to pay homage to her today in one of her dishes, Beef Burgundy, okay? Or Beef Bourguignon, as they would say. And it's a really, really nice dish to do. It tastes and smells delicious, but it does take a little bit of time. So we're going to hurry things up a little bit. I know we only have a short period of time, but this does take, it can take hours to do, okay? So there's a lot of stopping and starting in the process, and the recipes will show you how to do that. So what we're going to do to get started is we're going to turn our burner on, and we're going to get it nice and hot, and we're going to take some bacon. So we have bacon here, about 2 ounces of bacon, and we're going to cut it into strips. You can see that I really didn't separate the bacon apart. I just left it in big clumps here. And what I'm doing is that I'm slicing it down about 1/4-inch pieces. Okay, so we have some 1/4-inch strips. So if you see a strip would be kind of like that. Okay, like a matchstick almost. Okay, so we cut that down. What we want to do is we want to render the fat off of that, render all that fat out of that bacon, all right? Render all that out. So we just used a particular meat on this, okay? So we're going to move this out of the way. And we also have another board here that we can start preparing our beef. And this is about 1 pound of beef here that we have going on, and we're going to rinse my knife off real quick. Now we are going to cook this, so it really, we're going to bring it up to a really good temperature, and it's going to, even though we should bring beef to about 145, we're really going to cook this a lot hotter, okay? Because part of this cooking will actually go into the oven, and that oven will be at around 325 degrees, right? So we're rendering fat, which is what this process is. We're taking the fat out of the bacon. We're going to crisp this bacon up a little bit, and with a slotted spoon we're going to take the bacon out and put it in a bowl and reserve it for later, because we're going to put it back in this dish. But in the meantime, while that's going on, we can start cutting our beef. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for cubes, about roughly, I would say half inch in size, okay? So the way you do that, as you can see, I got some started already here. Okay, we're going to take a nice piece of beef, and this is bottom round, and we're just going to cut it into strips, about half-inch strips, turn it, and then cut it into half-inch cubes. Okay, if your piece of meat isn't as squared off as it is here, you could make it more squared off by cutting the fat. And what I did was I trimmed a lot of the fat. Well, you want to use a nice lean piece of meat when you do something like a beef Burgundy. It's going to cook for a long time, so these pieces are going to get really tender. Okay, you don't want to use filet mignon, or you don't want to use any sort of tenderloin or filet mignon type of cut. You want to use something that's going to be a little more less expensive. Okay, so we're going to cut this down, cube it, continue to cube it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this beef and we're going to saute it in this great bacon fat that we have going on here. So it's going to add more flavor to the beef by adding some of that pork fat to it. Okay, so we're going to slice this down again. And what I like to do again, I like to trim all the fat and all of that gristle that's off of that, because it's going to make it tough. All right, so we're going to turn this around a bit. You can see that the bacon's starting to crisp up, and we're rendering a lot of that fat that we're going to use. All right, so we've rendered quite a bit of the fat out of this bacon already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a slotted spoon and I'm going to remove as much of this bacon as I can. And we want to keep that fat in there. We don't want to get rid of that fat. We want to keep it in there. And we want to try to get our oil smoking. You can see it. It's starting to smoke right now. We're going to take our meat and put our nice cubed meat in that pan. And what we want to do now is we want to try to start this meat to caramelize. We want it to caramelize. We want it to get nice and brown, a nice golden or a nice dark brown. Caramelization, very, very key to good flavor. Okay, because you're bringing out the natural sugars in your meat. And yes, there's sugar in meat. And it's going to taste absolutely delicious. Okay, we're going to continue to go. And we're going to take a little bit of salt on our meat here and a couple of grinds of black pepper. Okay, salt adds a lot of really good flavor. And we're going to continue to cook this until it gets nice and brown. In the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to have an onion here. And we only need a quarter of our onion. Okay, so we're going to cut that into a quarter. And we're going to slice our onion down. Just nice slices. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. And again, this is going to be cooked. Okay, so we don't really have to worry about contamination at this point. And we're going to take a carrot. And we want to slice our carrot down. And just peel it a little bit. And we're only going to need about a third of a carrot. We won't need that much. And we'll move this off our board. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue to cook here, cook this down. And we're going to slice this carrot down, just some nice, easy slices on a bias, you could see, about a 1/4 inch thick, about a third of the way. Okay, and you could reserve the other carrot later. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll come right back, and we're going to put the rest of this dish together. Come back real soon.